Danny Segura for MMA Junkie. I'm here with Gilbert Burns, who is just days off a giant victory over Jorge Masvidal in the co-main event of UFC 287 in Miami. Durinho, how happy are you that you drove home? You didn't have to go to the airport. You didn't have to take a plane, my man.
Yeah, very happy. It was a big win, big fight, crazy crowd here in Miami. Family was there, friends, so I'm excited. Got the win. Couldn't get a finish, but I got a dominant win. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it was a big opportunity for you. You were asking for that fight for a long time. What has been the reception like? Obviously, co-main event of a pay-per-view, Jorge Masvidal being a huge name. Have you felt sort of I guess, the size of the event, the size of the victory in these past couple of days that have gone by?
Yeah, it's tough feeling. A lot of people talking about the fights. Fights going crazy in Brazil. I'm doing a lot of interviews for Brazil here too. Yeah, people talking. People don't stop talking. It's good. And yeah. Uh, What else? I didn't have too much time to stop. We went to Universal Monday with the kids, got back yesterday night, and tried to take one day at a time. But yeah, it was a big fight, and I'm very happy. Massive pay per view. I think the numbers were great. Gate was a great number, broke the record. I'm glad that we put Miami back on the map. And then I hope to fight here in Miami again soon.
Yeah, for sure, man. And let me ask you this: what's more exhausting, a day at Universal with the kids, or 15 minutes of fighting?
Oh, Universal for sure. But that was nice. We had a lot of fun. It
Yeah.
was great. My wife already she thought about it. She planned out everything, so we went there one day to relax. But yeah, it was hard.
Yeah. I know that Universal trip is definitely a heavy one. And let me ask you this, man. We talked before the fight, and you were telling me how like you were out to make a statement, out to convince Dana White that hey, look, Colby Covington shouldn't get the next title shot. It should be you. How'd you feel about your performance overall? Was it what you wanted? Did you wanted something more? Are you happy with what you were able to do in the cage?
I was happy, for sure. I want more, for sure. I always think he could have done better, but I think it was a great performance. George showed up. He didn't want to lose that last fight, especially in front of his crowd. So it was a tough fight, So, but I was able to land great shots, to land and finish a couple takedowns. I do some good ground and pound, and was a good fight. For sure, I'm happy with the results.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, man, you the whole fight week, you did a phenomenal job at playing your role, right? You were the heel, right? You were fighting the hometown guy, the king of Miami. Even at the weigh-ins, you're like, "Yo, I'm gonna kill your boy," and you were sort of enjoying that, being the bad guy, and kind of just enjoying the whole moment and giving the crowd, someone to boo, I guess. You don't usually play that role that often, right? So how was it like? Did you enjoy it, kind of being the bad guy for once?
I enjoy, I have a great time. The whole 5 week was great. Meeting a lot of fans here. Uh, Press conference was good. Wake up was perfect. Face off was nice. Walking to the fight was great. Crazy atmosphere. Bunch of famous people there. A lot of NFL players. It was great. And then be able to go there and perform for sure. I want to finish. I would say that every single time. I was looking forward for a finish, but a dominant win was I'm content with that, And then that's it. They were boring. They were crazy. I like it, I like every part of it. Having the fans in their favor, having fans against you. The fans will be there, and they were gonna put a show, and I'm glad that we put a show for the fans.
Yeah, you guys definitely did that. It was a show all the way through. And let me ask you real quick. I know you've addressed this, but I want to ask about those post fight comments that you had about Jorge Masvidal using lotion and feeling very slippery. Then you updated kind of your stance on the matter, and you put out a video apologizing to Jorge and his team, and saying that look, I have no proof, so it was kind of unfair for me to put that out there. Can you talk us through like kind of your thought process from your experience in the fight and feeling him, I guess, extra slippery to now a few days later, kind of walking back your words and apologizing to Jorge and his team?
Yeah, I was very emotional right after the fight. That I couldn't finish the fight, and I felt that he was very, very slippery. But I have no proof. Sometimes we have
Mm.
an opinion, and we make a lot of mistakes thinking that opinion becomes a fact. It's not a fact that he used something. For sure, in my opinion, he was very, very slippery, but that doesn't mean that I made that effect that for sure he used. I have no proof to say that. So in that, I made a mistake, like making effect. So I wasn't with the guy all day, and I haven't seen him doing a lot of former teammates that train with. He said that he sweats a lot, but I don't think he did nothing to cheat or put him out of any situation. And for that, I had to apologize, because it kind of point fingers and it made like a fact that he used. But I don't think he has nothing to prove, nothing to do that. And that's why I apologize, because I made my opinion trying to become a fact, and it's not a fact. Everyone has different opinions. But a fact is something that you saw, or for sure the person did it, but I cannot say 100% that he did something. I wasn't with him all day, so that's why I apologize to him and his team.
Yeah, for sure, man. And some other comments that were made by your part at the presser were that, hey, look, I want that backup role. I want I want to be next for the title, or my fight to be, the next one for the championship belt. Either that or release me. And usually, sometimes when these type of comments are made, and maybe we get a delayed response, or sometimes it takes months till the UFC figures something out. But literally minutes after, Dana White gets on the podium right after you and says, "Deal, let's do it." Your reaction to those words? I mean, sort of, is it mission accomplished? You go in there, beat Masvidal, and it looks like your next fight will be a title shot, at least according to UFC president Dana White.
Yeah, that's what Dana said after the fight. He said, I'm going to be next. And he thought when I want to be the backup, that's why I put kind of all that pressure on them, because they said that. So, but I want, for sure, I want to be the backup. If something happens, I'll be ready and glad to take that opportunity. Again, I don't want nothing bad to happen to no one, to the fighters, but we know this is sport. We can get hurt, we can, some injuries happen, missing flights or whatever, the case may be. I'll be there ready in July in London. And if not, be there. I'm gonna do my part, and I hope I they keep the word, and I get an excellent title. If nothing happened, me being a backup.
Yeah, for sure, man. And Leon Edwards kind of doesn't seem like he wants to fight Colby. I don't know if you saw, he put out a tweet and he was like, you know, I think who's next? Nobody deserves it. Something along those lines. I don't remember exactly word for word. But if Leon, for whatever reason, doesn't want the title fight, and we know that, the UFC likes to move along with the division, if they were to implement an interim belt against Colby Covington, does that sound good to you?
100%. But the fight is a done deal. I think Leo is
Mhm.
talking, but the fight is pretty much
Okay.
it. For they just, I don't know what they're waiting for. For sure, couple contract and couple dates. They don't know if it's gonna be July 22nd or 29 in London. So I think they just finalizing the details. But Kobe will be next. If he declined, for sure, for sure, fight. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Kobe's fighting Leo will be the backup, and I'll be the next one in line.
Yeah. And that is a tricky spot to be in, sort of a backup role, because you could be, if things go right, I guess, for you, and one of the guys drops out. I mean, you could be fighting vastly different opponents, right? Colby, very different to Leon Edwards. So, is this something you had to run by your coaches, because it is a tougher challenge, right? You're not getting ready for one specific style. You kind of have to keep both in mind, right?
Yeah. So we haven't figured out yet how we're gonna do, but I have great teammates that can do both styles. So I guess one day I'm gonna spot for one guy, the other day I'm gonna spot the other guy. We have in the MMA day I'm gonna do me, wrestling day I do me, grappling day I do me. Just on the sparring, you gotta have different opponents right there. But it's good to be in this position, I guess, too, because Leon is getting ready for Kobe. Kobe's getting ready for Leon. No one's getting ready for me in case he get an opportunity. So it's tricky for everyone, So if someone pulled out, I'll jump in and I've been getting ready for this guy, but they were getting ready to Kobe or Leon. So it's tricky to everybody. So um, I'm I'm I like that position.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that, right? Like, they're solely focused on one guy. So it's a double-edged sword, right? It works also for them. That's a very good point. Who do you think gives you I guess, a toughest fight, or who do you think is more problematic in terms of styles? Is it Leon or Colby?
Uh, I think Kobe, but it's still the if Kobe thinks the hardest fight, but it's the perfect fight. Is the fight that I want for so long. I have studied him many times, and yeah, I would love to face Kobe. You know, if you know, even though if it's Kobe, it might be interim. You know, because if Leo
Mhm.
is the champion, if something happened to Leo, he's going to be an interim battle against Kobe. But I just that's one of the fights that I've been looking for so long
Yeah.
that I would love that matchup against Kobe, even if it's interim title.
Mhm. Interesting. So obviously let the best man win, but in an ideal situation, you would like to be facing Colby for the undisputed. That's the fight that you'd like.
Yes, I like both fights.
Mhm. Yeah.
I like the fight Leo and Chu, but favorite one as not just me, but as a fan watching me against Kobe would be a crazy fight.
Yeah. And I think that's why fans love you, because literally just seconds ago you said, I think that's kind of the toughest fight, the more problematic, even though I'm sure you like your chances against both. But I think that's what fans love you, right? Like, you're not afraid to fight the very best and fight. In fact, quite the opposite. You welcome it. What is it about the Colby matchup that makes you want that one a little bit more than Leon?
Uh, I just like his competitiveness. You know, I think for sure the way he talks, I think he's gonna bring a lot of eyes to the fight. But he has a good pace. You know, the guy don't stop coming, and then he wrestles. I think we're gonna wrestle. We're gonna grapple. We're gonna strike. I'm gonna. It's gonna be fun, you know, to be in that fight. I just think it's gonna be fun. Me against Kobe's gonna be fun all the way in press conference, face off, the build up to the fight. You know, he's talking shit about Brazil and the whole thing. I just like the whole idea. You know, I think it's gonna be a great fight. I'm looking forward to this fight.
Yeah. By the way, do you take any of those comments personally? I know a lot of Brazilians do. Some others just see it. Hey, it's a show, right? Like it's just part of his gimmick. I don't know where you stand with it.
No, I'm cool with that. You do whatever you need to do. You know, I think uh, I like to play more real me. You know, like I said, if I didn't know, even I saw a couple comments. Oh, he's afraid to see George on the street. That's why he apologized. I apologize because I think he made a mistake. But
Mhm.
I'm not afraid of no man on the street, bro. Like I, this guy, like okay, George, like born and raised here in Miami. I grew up in a freaking favela, bro. He's no man that I'm that I'm afraid of. But he do whatever he wants. You know, I don't take nothing personal with Kobe. You know, I know I met him the other day. He was super cool, respectful. So I know it's just a thing that he's doing, and I don't agree, but he do whatever he wants. You know,
Yeah. When you say the other day, when did you meet him?
I meet him. We have a Brazilian concert at the guitar, Hollywood hard rock.
Hmm.
Before I get my fight, and also before my fight, that was last year.
Okay.
Before I get a fight with New Magnet, that was I would say September last year.
Okay. Yeah. Coincidence that you ran into him, or?
Yeah, coincidence. So I was walking by and I saw him there. He called me and I said, "Oh shit, might go down right now." Then he was super cool. You know, very
Yeah.
like weird, super cool. You know that I know what he's doing, and like I said, I don't agree. I think it should be you and making like make a way. You know, to sell yourself. But he do whatever he does, so I don't care.
Yeah. Is that weird? Like that experience? Because obviously on camera, he's like you're saying, like right, like completely different person. You meet him in person, no cameras around, and hey, he's kind of cool, right? Like he's like a nice guy. You say,
Yeah, he was a very nice guy. You know,
yeah,
super cool, super respectful, and yeah, it was weird. That was just like, man, the guy's actually cool. You know, but too much even like. It was even awkward at the
yeah,
end. Like, okay, bro, I'm gonna get my way. Take it easy.
yeah, for sure. You kind of don't know what version to expect. By the way, what concert was that?
Qual foi aquele show que a gente viu o Colby na saída? Você lembra? Yeah, foi. That was a Brazilian concert. Turma do Pagode. That was I think September last year.
Okay, nice, nice. And I guess back to fighting, as you mentioned, it seems like everything's finalized. There's just a few details between Leon and Colby. Your prediction on that, you mentioned at the post-fight press conference when I asked you, Colby, you still stand by that prediction? And do you feel very confident about it? Do you feel like Leon has a good chance here of retaining his belt?
He always has a good chance. Good chance, and he was very tough. I stand by Kobe, but not an easy fight. I think it's gonna be a crazy fight, and I never count Leon out. Leon is as tough as he comes, but I just think Kobe will be too much for him. He's not a for whoever is a grappler and he can wrestle hard. I think he's a good matchup against Kobe. But whoever is not a grappler, yeah, he's a hard fight. I think.
Yeah. And last question on this. And I have to ask it, there is another guy out there in the division that's doing very good work, Belal Muhammad. I think he's on a 7-fight win streak or something like that. He might not have the hype as others, but certainly, he does have a good resume. I guess for those people that say like, hey, it shouldn't be Burns as the backup, it should be Belal Muhammad, or Burns should be fighting Belal. I guess what would you have to say about sort of Belal's standing in the division and why you should be getting that your next fight would be for a title instead of him?
Uh, he's doing a great job. He just got to keep doing what he's doing and get nothing against Bilal. He's been beating great guys. I just think that in my favorite, the only thing that I have to say is look at my competition. I since Damian Maya just fought the toughest guy, Tyron Woodley, and then got a shot, and then lost to Kamara, and then it just fought backwards. I don't like when this guy say I'm just fighting forward right now. No, I was the number 2 contender, and then I fought Winter Boy, then I fought Hamza, then I fought New Megan, now I fight George, and I just not gonna keep fighting everyone backwards. So, but I fought many times, so I think just the resume, that close fight with Hamza, the beginning of the fight with Kamaru, the domination against Tyron Woodley, the domination against Wonder Boy, Neil Magny, now George. I just believe I'm next, and I have nothing to prove to no one. If those guys think Belal Muhammad's next, okay, you think he's next? It's up to you. Like his opinion, everyone has your opinion. But the most important opinion right now is Dana White, the fans, and Hunter. They make the decision. So a lot of fans don't agree that Kobe's next and he's still being next. So I have nothing to say to these guys. I'm just putting a lot of work. I'm glad the UFC put me next in the title, and I think Bilal Muhammad's right there too. Super close position.
Yeah, certainly, and always appreciate the honesty, Durinho. Lastly, I lied one more. By the way, did you talk to Dana or Hunter about sort of your standing outside of those comments that we heard from him publicly in the presser?
Yeah, I talked to them before that. Whenever the fight was over, I went there to talk with the former president Donald Trump, and then he was right there, and they say I'm next. If I won, I could fight for. I could be the backup, and I say I won, and then I kind of say all that the man and everything, but they already said that. I just want to put that pressure a little bit.
Nice, yeah. Make a statement there for sure. Awesome, Durinho. Well, I appreciate the time like always. Congrats again on fighting in Miami. You guys put on a show, made Miami look great. So good that the UFC wants to come back next year. So congrats on the victory again, and as well as on that backup role. Obviously, something that you had in mind and you wanted for a long time.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.